In our last video, we talked about the Mattel Aquarius, but today I'm talking about a different computer by Mattel that's not a computer at all, but maybe one of my favorite products that they've ever made. This is the Computer Warriors Parallax Computer, and we're going to talk about this and the entire toy line as we take a trip down memory lane right here on Vintage Geek. I'm Aaron, welcome to Vintage Geek. If you're into things like vintage tech, vintage computers, and maybe even vintage toys occasionally, be sure to like and subscribe. We make videos like this each and every week. We've talked about Mattel here on the channel before, and most recently we talked about the Mattel Aquarius computer, which was in the early 80s in an attempt to compete in the home computing market. But today we're talking about a different product from Mattel that was along the toy line, and it's one of my favorite toys from when I was growing up, even though it was very short-lived. In 1989, Mattel came out with the toy line Computer Warriors, and it all centered around this kind of incredible story about computer viruses and these characters living in the computers. And they even made a short cartoon video of it that was the only content that ever came out for the show, unfortunately. And I remember being mad for a long time after that there was never any continuation of the actual content. But the toys were fantastic, and recently my son was playing with some friends and actually got out the original box from my childhood of Computer Warrior toys, and I thought it would be fun here on the channel to do a little bit of a recap and a trip down memory lane. Back when I got the toys originally, of course, I actually did get a copy of Computer Warriors The Adventure Begins, which was their 20-minute cartoon, and it came on a VHS tape. Now somewhere, probably in a box, we have the original VHS, but I have not located that currently, so I gotta go back and watch the story because I don't remember all the characters and kind of how everything came together.
Evil viruses are attacking the world's computers.
Oh my.
Forcing the Computer Warriors down. Hiding in a Pepsi can.
I forgot that this started with an ad.
And wipe out the virus air attack.
Look at those pens go.
Yeah! Computer Warriors, expect the unexpected.
Are we going to start the actual video? Oh yeah, nice. A Kroyer Films Inc. production. Computer Warriors. Ooh, what kind of base is this? Parallax is government property. Getting a little bit of a Stranger Things vibe here. Oh no, he dropped the chip.
Huh?
Honestly, this seems pretty dramatic right now.
5, 4, 3, 2.
What are we following?
Listen, Sarge, we just had an unauthorized core dump into the network.
Oh god, an unauthorized core dump? How serious? Oh, now we're going behind the computer. Okay, all right, I see where they're going with this.
Minus is an AI program completely devoid of logic. There are no limits to this virus's search for power.
It's way ahead of its time. It's talking about AI programs.
Rom, you will serve as team leader. Grid, you are the diagnostics program. Micron, you will provide statistical analysis of the mission. And Scanner, your built-in programming will enable you to follow the trail of the viruses no matter how faint.
All right, so we've established the teams here. In the first 4 minutes, we've got the good guys and the bad guys. Honestly, the bad guys look cooler. I seem to remember that being the case, though.
Index. Locate the most direct route back to Parallax. Scanning all available pathways.
Wow, this guy's out of hand.
Any virus that fires this blaster without my permission will be neutralized by me faster than a Wozniak.
Faster than a Wozniak.
You're a natural leader, Rom, and I just love playing.
Best acting I've ever seen. Huh?
Mathematically, with 5 tunnels and 3 viruses, there are 720 possible pursuit scenarios.
Listen, keep your math to yourself, all right? Oh no.
Data indicates we are in a telecom port.
Telecom port? What does that mean?
They're trapped.
I don't think that's actually what that means.
It means the bitstream ends dead ahead. Then we go beyond the bitstream.
Beyond the bitstream?
Surrender viruses before it's too late.
Never.
Oh wow. I think they went beyond the bitstream. Oh, they're outside the computer now. What happened to my hand?
Experiencing minor disorientation.
I see. They put minus in there for the comic relief. Somehow, it appears that they've ended in a teenager's bedroom. I'm not really sure how that works, but maybe this was early internet. We'll see. Oh man, someone blew up my computer.
Oh man, how am I gonna finish my homework?
I'm more wondering how you're gonna put a CD-ROM in a floppy disk drive, but that's just me.
These viruses are unknowns.
Parallax considers them neutralized, therefore they're neutralized.
End of story. We're not getting paid overtime, guys. Just leave it alone.
And in the meantime, we're marooned in a world populated by hostiles.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, what were you doing inside the computer that was more exciting?
Your primary mission, seek out and neutralize these viruses. But once outside the bitstream, you must keep your presence undetected.
Yeah, good luck with that.
No sign of virus here.
Negative viral infestation here.
Keep searching. They must be here.
He said as he casually looked around the room without digging into anything. Somehow, in the 15 minutes since they arrived on Earth, they've turned it into some kind of high-tech weaponry. It happened very quickly. Pretty impressive, honestly.
Possible escape route sighted.
Oh no, it's a dog. Yep, no one's gonna notice this at all. Just a bunch of computer viruses flying around somebody's house.
But we'll be staying together, right? I wouldn't want to run into any of those hostile carbon units without backup.
I wouldn't want to run into any of those carbon units without backup. Who do they get to voice these parts? Wait a second. That clock is wrong. Again, things move very quickly. Turn that clock into a high-performance weapon. Bet you didn't count on him making a spaceship out of a flashlight, huh?
Oh no!
Oh no, he flew into the sock.
Get out of the way, you idiots!
Not the aerosol can.
Well then, get oriented. The viruses are headed for the portal.
Yeah, man up, guys. Come on.
The viruses must not get through.
What? A Pepsi can? This is some early product placement right here.
Here's a little gift from Parallax.
Wait a minute. They're just disappearing into CDs? How does that even work?
Viruses captured and transferred to disk.
Hey, what's this digital clock doing in my room?
What are all these random things doing in my room? I can't imagine. That kid just left with the CD.
Computer warriors, format for bitstream re-entry.
Wait, they're going back into the computer? This doesn't make sense. And the infamous to be continued.
Evil viruses are attacking the world's computers.
And we're back into the commercial, because nothing's better than putting a commercial at the beginning and end of the promotional video that in itself was a full commercial. I will admit, I did watch that video a lot when I was a kid, and it still holds up. It's a fun little jaunt and a fun little story, but the fact that they never continued it in any fashion was very frustrating for someone that was into the toys. Hopefully someday someone will pick up the torch with as many reboots as there have been, you know, just come out with a full-length Computer Warriors feature, but I'm not sure if I'll see that in my lifetime. But I do have the toys from my childhood, and they are still in the box that we kept them in when I was a kid. I'm sure this box has been rummaged through many times by myself, by my son, by my son's friends. Who knows? There may be toys in here that aren't even Computer Warriors, but I thought it'd be fun to open it up and go through them. Let's take a look and see what we've got in this mystery box of Computer Warriors toys today. A lot of these pieces are just loose. As I said, the box has been rummaged through over the years. Oh yes, the soccer ball trophy. Now this was pretty prominently featured in that film and the cartoon. This is pretty cool. Kind of opens up. You've got a place for your figures to sit. You got some cool weapons here. You got a bigger cannon here. It's adjustable. It can roll around, kind of like a moving base. Oh yes, the Time Will Tell digital clock. I really do appreciate the naming on this, Time Will Tell. The clock in this actually did work when I was a kid, so I assume that if I found the right battery for it, I could make it work again. Looks like we've got some different pieces here that open up. Pretty cool battle station. Ah, yes, the pencil sharpener. This was one of the viruses' little bases that they set up here. All right, so it kind of folds out. And as I recall, I think that there actually is a real pencil sharpener that goes in this. It's one of the manual kinds. So I guess this is a jet that you can fly, and the Pepsi can. Now I don't know what the deal was that they had with Pepsi at the time. Obviously Mattel's a big toy company, and I'm sure Pepsi jumped at the chance to be part of some kind of product placement. Pretty well done though. All the logoing and the stickers look pretty good on this. It looks fairly legitimate. Take this and then it folds down. You've got this kind of cockpit thing that comes out of the middle. Fly around and drop a bomb. Ah yes, the calculator. I remember this one being particularly funny to me as a kid because the other ones are fairly well self-contained and they definitely look like what they're supposed to look like. This one definitely is a seriously oversized calculator. I mean, what kind of calculator would have this size of base on it? The calculator itself is separate. This calculator, funny enough, sat in my mom's utility drawer in the kitchen with the other calculators. So it was just became a part of the household inventory, if you will. It does turn into some kind of tank. I mean, it's a pretty serious calculator. It takes long division very seriously. Well, I think this might be the base for the soccer trophy. Oh yeah, of course it is. It has stickers on it for MVP. Last but certainly not least, we have the characters and their individual flying computer cards. It looks like we have all 4 of the virus characters. We only have 1 of the good guys. I'm not sure what happened to the other 3. And we only have 4 of the computer card type flying machines. So that's pretty much everything that we have in the box. So now I want to take a look at the bigger pieces of this set and kind of see how they work together. As we saw in the cartoon, one of the first ones we saw was a book that they converted into some kind of rocket base. The funny story about this is I actually thought that we had lost this particular toy. And funny enough, they did a good enough job in making this kind of look like a real book. This was actually in a box of books. The artwork on this is really cool. They actually call it Invasion of the Viruses. It's very on the nose. It also has the spine on it, Martin Press. It's cleverly done. When we open it up, it kind of becomes a kind of right-angled base here. Looks like you got some kind of computer terminal on the wall, which is like a computer inside a computer in a book. I'm not sure how that works. And it looks like you got like a lift here in the back. And I think this goes in this little kind of loading dock here. Looking a little bit closer at this, I think the platform that attaches to this staircase may come from the back wall. Ah yes, here we go. So this comes out like this, then it slides into a little locking pin down below. And then this goes down like this. So now you've got a little ladder, an additional platform. I mean, they probably could have put some stairs up to this one, but I guess they figured the guys could just jump up there or something. And then you've got your connection stairs over here. Pretty good movement and things they can do around the base here. That's pretty cool, and it's really neat to see this all together again. This was the playset that I was looking forward to most as a kid, and I believe that I did get it one Christmas morning. It is the Parallax Computer and the Computer Warriors base playset from Mattel. Now, it's clearly a toy, but you have to give them some credit. Computer Warriors came out in 1989. This is very indicative of computers at the time. The base section of this kind of looks a little bit like the Tandy 1000 HX. The keyboard obviously does not function. These are hard plastic keys. They don't press down, but the height of them looks appropriate. It does have the number pad with its kind of standard arrangement of keys, so they were definitely trying to be true to form. The screen itself is, I think, clever. It kind of has this plastic piece here that it would be the actual screen itself. The color of that plastic does a pretty good job of evoking the feeling of having a CRT monitor. And also true to form with many of the things we cover here on the channel with real computers, it is getting its share of yellowing from over the years. So the plastic itself is similar to the plastic that was used in computers at the time. It's a pretty cool facade and a pretty cool disguise for a base. One of the coolest I've ever seen being a computer fan. But now we have to get into what's actually inside this and turn it into the Computer Warriors base. So I think I'm going to start with the monitor. As I recall, you kind of have to just push this to the side. So you start out, you've got a couple of escape pod kind of jets here in the top, and this, I think, will flap. Ah, yeah, there you go. So this flaps down, so this is kind of like a launching area. This part will also open. We got 2 more giant guns here. These are the big guys. When you really want to take down some viruses, you got to man these weapons for sure. We got this sliding jail door. It goes right in here. You lock up all the baddies, because that's what you do with viruses. Put them in a jail in a computer. There's this piece that comes out. So this is basically the floppy drive or the CD drive, I guess. This was an outboard unit, and it could actually fire these little discs.
Here's a little gift from Parallax.
It was a really cool piece and one of my favorite parts of the set, to be able to fire those discs like that. And last but not least, we have the computer monitor itself. And this is where things get a little wild, because it really dramatically expands the size of this base as we do this. So the monitor actually comes open. And there's this little kind of leg that it stands on when you go out to this position. You've got this extra platform here that comes down. And then this is going to connect back to the top of our computer. The screen itself, which we talked about earlier, looked pretty good from the outside, is also a second piece that doubles as part of the base itself. This becomes this kind of weird radar reflector that actually mounts on top. This actually spins around, so it can get all of those important communications, I suppose. You've got this cool mechanical arm. You move this around and open these claws up to pick up things, I suppose. This also flaps out, so you've got the back of the monitor. There's a platform that comes down, and then these giant guns actually just kind of go into this little slot here, so you can also man these weapons and defend the backside of the base at the same time. Honestly, it's a really cool playset. Being a kid and being into computers and just the level of depth and the expansion that you have by transforming this computer into this base is really cool, and I think honestly one of Mattel's best toys, even though it was very short-lived. I don't know the whole story of why it never really took off. Personally, I think if they would have just made that continuation of the video, it really would have done it for them, but you know, what do I know? The Computer Warriors, what a great short-lived toy from the late 80s and early 90s, and really glad that we have this set. Of course, this is a little bit off of our normal topics for Vintage Geek, but the computer tie-in is undeniable, and I hope that you enjoyed this video today. As always, if you like what we're doing here on Vintage Geek, if you like vintage technology, vintage computers, and yes, even vintage toys that have a technology flair to them, be sure to like and subscribe. It's going to help us a lot as we grow. Also, if you like the shirt that I'm wearing, if you want one of these or other branded merchandise, be sure to check out the merch store. We've got coffee mugs, shirts, and lots of accessories. Until next time, I'm Aaron, and this has been Vintage Geek.